Am I the asshole for calling my sister-in-law's husband an interfering asshole and telling him to keep his judgmental comments to himself? No? This seems like a pretty strong head forward one. So I'm gonna say no. I'm 28, male, adopted. My parents were older, 50s, when they became my parents. They had fostered for many years and had known my birth mother, kinda. My birth mother did not want children, but lived with a family who was very anti abortion and restricted her access to one when she found out she was pregnant with me. Aw. So she decided I should be adopted and wanted my parents to be the ones who raised me. My birth mother is not someone I met, but 18 years after I was born, she wrote to my parents to thank them for what they did and gave a life update to pass along to me. She had no children, never married, and lived the life that she wanted since she was a child. She also thanked them for keeping me from her family, that she did not want them getting their claws into me. Her words. That's strange. Her family have tried reaching out to me over the years, but I always ignore them and have no intention of responding. That's my history and background. I'm now married to my wonderful husband, Luke, 29, male, and still very close to my parents, who are thankfully still with us. They're also still as amazing as when I was a kid. My sister-in-law, husband's sister, is married to a man called Aaron, and this is who I called an asshole. Aaron has a half-sibling who was placed for adoption years before he was born, his father's child. He and his siblings have tried to make contact with this half-sibling and were told he was not interested. He then learned that his grandparents had offered to raise the half-sibling, but the birth mother chose to place him for adoption instead. This has filled Aaron with some issues regarding adoption and adoptees not wanting contact. He knows that I'm adopted and that I do not wish to know my birth family. This pisses him off endlessly. He brings it up whenever we see him, and my husband has told him repeatedly to drop it, and he also started spending less time with his sister and Aaron as a result. We attended a family birthday party over the weekend, and Aaron approached me and shamed me for not letting my real family get to know me and have me in their lives. That's out of pocket. He called me selfish, said my parents were selfish for adopting me when they were way too old and had already been unable to have kids. He said it was selfish to keep me from my real flesh and blood family. He said he hoped my parents would rot in hell. Dude, what the heck? I cut him off as my husband was trying to scold him, and I say trying because Aaron talked over him. But I called Aaron an interfering asshole who needs to get help for his issues and leave the rest of us alone because he has no right to dig into other people's business, and I told him to keep those judgmental comments to himself because I won't stand for the disrespect of my parents. Aaron and my sister-in-law are unhappy with all I said to him at the party. I think what he said is worse, but am I the asshole? No. Why are they mad because they poked the bear? Literally, what do you mean? Not the asshole. OPS offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I called my sister-in-law's husband an interfering asshole and told him to keep his judgmental comments to himself. This was all happening at a party, and I feel like walking away and completely refusing to engage may have made the better man here, versus standing and engaging and basically resorting to name-calling. No, I just feel like it was gonna happen eventually. This thing was going to happen eventually. Not the asshole. Aaron is clearly upset he's not getting his way with the adopted relative, and I find with people like that, they don't actually care all that much about the moving parts or other people involved. They're just upset they've been told no and proceed to behave like it's the worst thing anyone has ever done to them. He likely can't fathom why someone wouldn't want to know him. So it's the evil adoption enterprises to fault, and he's made you a part of his grand illusion and conspiracy. No narrative matters except the one in his head. Aaron and sister-in-law are unhappy with what you said because it hurt their feelings. But that's a them problem. You've done what you needed to. He keeps disturbing your peace with all his nonsense, and maybe sister-in-law needs to have it pointed out to her. And she's got no horse in this race other than standing up for her partner's feelings. The feelings of someone she loves. And that's exactly what you've done in the face of your parents being unfairly tarnished with whatever brush Aaron dipped in his own family drama. Dang, 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 dang. Asshole enthusiast. Yeah. You are an enthusiast. Very well put. Am I the asshole for inviting my nephew to my wedding despite his estrangement from my brother? No? I mean, because I look into it as like still including them, you know? I don't know. I'm gonna say no. I, 33 male, am marrying my fiance, 37 male, this winter. We're putting together the guest list to send the invitations out and have run into an issue over my nephew and my brother. My brother, 38 male, was 18 when his girlfriend told him she was pregnant. They ended up moving in together, and my brother decided to find work as a mechanic rather than go to college as he planned. My nephew was born a little while later. They got married when she told him she was pregnant with their second kid, 15 female, and then had 2 more, both 10 male. Ever since my nephew was born, he's been literally one of my favorite people. I babysat him plenty of times, same with my other siblings, and have spent my 20s as their gunkle. My brother and me were close as kids, and I've been close with his kids as well. 5 years ago, my brother found out my nephew wasn't his, and his now ex-wife had been sleeping with someone else at the time and had suspected my oldest nephew wasn't my brother's since he was a little kid. They ended up getting a divorce, and my brother didn't seek custody of my oldest nephew and said he didn't want to see him. It's not the kid's fault. He told me that he needed time to process and wouldn't try to patch things up later. That idea was kind of ruined when my nephew turned up at my brother's apartment begging to talk. It turned into an argument between them. This is so sad. For context, our father had just passed a couple of months earlier. During the argument, my nephew said something along the lines of, "No wonder mom f***ed somebody else. I bet grandpa hated you." Oh! Damn. My brother cut things off then and there and has refused to see my nephew since. I stepped in as the main male figure in my nephew's life, much as I dislike my ex-sister-in-law. I even took him out for his 18th birthday and took him looking at universities, and he now goes to my alma mater. Aww. I asked my brother how he wants to handle the seating situation if they don't want to be close together. My brother was angry I'd even invite my nephew after everything that happened. He said it'd be like inviting my ex-sister-in-law. He's not family, he's just the prick who disrespected our dad. I said he's being petty and childish for taking the words of a scared and angry 14-year-old so personally. That's right. That's so right. He was a kid who said something shitty because his entire world was falling apart and the person he'd relied on his whole life was suddenly pulling away. And instead of being understanding and doing family therapy or something like a grown-up, my brother decided to give adult weight to a teenager's words and cut him off completely. My nephew said he's okay with not going if it's causing an issue, but I told him not to be ridiculous. He's important to me, and I want him there for when I marry my person. Aww. I told him he shouldn't let my brother's inability to let go of it be his problem. My fiance agrees with me. My mom and sister both say I need to see it from my brother's perspective. I think he's just being petty. Am I the asshole? No! Why is your other parts of your family? Oh my god, this poor kid. OPS offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I invited my nephew to my wedding despite the fact that he and my brother have been estranged, and he said some admittingly awful things to my brother last they spoke. Not the asshole. Oh damn, somebody gave a whole thing. Let's see what they say. Not the asshole by a mile. You're absolutely right to stand by your nephew and include him in your wedding. Your nephew is clearly an important part of your life, and you've stepped up to be there for him when his world fell apart. He needs that stability and love now more than ever, especially after being rejected by the person he thought was his father for most of his life. Your support likely means the world to him, and excluding him from your wedding to placate your brother's grudge would only add to the pain and rejection he's already experienced. Let's break this down. Teenagers say stupid things. Your nephew was a kid going through an incredibly traumatic experience. Finding out that the man you believe to be your father for your entire life isn't actually your biological father would turn anyone's world upside down. Teenagers are known for saying things they don't mean when they're angry or scared. Your brother should recognize that and not hold a grudge over something said in a moment of heightened emotion and pain. Expecting adult-level maturity from a kid in that situation is unrealistic and unfair. Your brother's reaction. While it's understandable that your brother was hurt by the revelation and the subsequent argument, his reaction is extreme. It's been 5 years, and instead of finding a way to heal or move forward, he's holding on to anger and resentment. His refusal to even consider reconciliation despite your nephew's attempts to reach out speaks more to his own issues than to anything your nephew did. The grudge isn't just about what was said, it's about unresolved pain and betrayal. But that's something your brother should work through, ideally in therapy, rather than taking it out on a young man who's also hurting. Oh. Family dynamics. Your brother's demand to exclude your nephew is trying to force you to choose sides. Weddings are about celebrating love and bringing people together, not about deepening family divides. Your brother has no right to dictate who you consider family and who you want to share your special day with. By excluding your nephew, you'd be reinforcing your brother's narrative that his grudge is more important than the relationships you've built and the love you have for your nephew. Your support matters. By standing by your nephew, you're showing him that he still has a place in the family, that he's still loved, and that he's not alone. This support could be pivotal in his healing process. It's more important for him to see that not everyone is willing to cast him aside based on circumstances beyond his control. Your brother's refusal to move past his anger is his issue to deal with, not yours. You're not responsible for managing his emotions or protecting him from his own unresolved feelings. By inviting your nephew, you're honoring the bond you have with him and making it clear that he matters to you. Your brother may need to come to terms with that, but ultimately, his inability to let go shouldn't dictate your choices or your wedding day. Aww. Stick to your guns and don't let anyone make you feel guilty for choosing love, understanding, and support over petty grudges. You're not being insensitive, you're being compassionate and kind, and that's what makes you far from an asshole. Aww. That's a whole lot of words. To get mad at a 14... He was 14 when he found that out? That's so crazy. Am I the asshole for asking my wife to spend all her savings? Yes. I don't know, probably. Yes. I mean, unless it's like something they're both to be responsible for, but like, I don't know. I'm gonna say yes. That's a red flag to me. I have a raised eyebrow. I'm side-eyeing. I'm a 34-year-old male married to the love of my life, a 33-year-old female. My wife is kind, nurturing, and motivated in her career. She does a lot for me at home since I work long hours. We married 4 months ago, dated for 8 years. We're both easygoing and have the same sense of humor and rarely argue. I make 4 times more money. I'm in healthcare, but she makes a good salary as well. Since I make 4 times what she does, I tend to pay for most things. Dinners, weekend trips, mall shopping, which I absolutely do not mind. With bigger purchases, we pay for things together in proportion to what we make. She's usually okay with paying her share of things, a fourth of the rent and groceries, and will sometimes offer to pay for dinners and dates. She's very close with her best friends. She has 4. They're great people, but they're basically attached at the hip and talk daily in a group chat, which is fine. Everyone needs a support system. I have similar friends. Her and her 4 friends have combined savings. Her and her 4 friends have a combined savings account together for investing in something together. They've each been putting in a few $100s per month each. Damn. I've known about this for years and didn't love the idea initially, which I expressed. But she was adamant she wanted this, and at the time, we weren't hurting for money, and it was ultimately her money and her decision. We are now looking to buy a home in one of the most expensive real estate markets in the United States. She expresses that she does not have much in her own savings, but has $20K of her own money tied in with her friends' combined savings. Over the last year, they've been told by 2 financial advisors that 5 people attempting to invest together in real estate or stocks or a business wasn't a great idea. And they also recommended to split the funds to 5 separate accounts since the account is under one of the friends' names. And there are tax implications for having that amount of money to her name, $100K. Whoa. It's all under one person's name? Ooh, that's trust. That's trust right there. The homes we're looking for are around $60 to $70K for a down payment. I stated I was willing to spend nearly all my savings for the down payment for the house, $50K. So I told her she would pull that money from her joint friends account to help with the down payment. It's a huge purchase, and I don't think it should be my burden alone. She got really upset and told me I don't want to touch that money. I promised my friends it would be for investing together. We should look for a less expensive home then, maybe a fixer-upper. She then stated it would be easier for you to accrue the money back since you make so much more. This was very frustrating, and I told her it's unfair I have to spend nearly all my savings and you don't. Your friend fund is stupid, and it's stupid not to use the money for our future home. Am I the asshole for asking her to use her own cash from her friend's account, break that promise to her friend so we can buy a nice home together? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I told my girlfriend she needs to spend all her savings and break a promise to her friends. I also told her promise was stupid. Yeah, saying it was stupid was kinda... I don't trust that it's under one person, but I mean, they're best friends joined at the hip, but who knows? Wait, so she and her friends have a shared savings account that they've been adding together with the intent of eventually investing in, as the money is currently just sitting there in one person's account? Not the asshole. That is absolutely ridiculous. I could see the value of having a shared bank account between close friends for the purpose of going on trips and vacations together, since you could just pull the money for deposits instead of paying the Venmo game. But this is ridiculous. Makes it seem like she cares more about planning for her future with her friends than her own husband. Yikes. Also, maybe I should live somewhere really expensive, but I'm shocked 60k to 70k isn't already the minimum down payment on a fixture-upper. Then maybe they shouldn't go, like, okay, I mean, this might be a good thing. I'm gonna say yeah. But, I mean, it's kind of crazy that she doesn't want to do that. They probably shouldn't go for a house then. Is OP, like, is girlfriend getting upset that they're not getting a house then? Or is she's like, I don't know. I feel like there is compromise. I don't know. I'm gonna say, I don't know. Maybe not enough info? No. I said yes, but I'm not sure now. It was, you did turn into that for saying it was stupid, but maybe there's enough information on your side, but maybe I want to hear her side too, to make a, like, clear, conscious effort to make a decision here. I don't know. I'm gonna say not enough info. Please provide more. Am I the asshole for telling my parents to forget the Hallmark movies and move into the real world? No. I'm gonna say yes, actually. My initial reaction is yes. Well, yeah, I'm gonna say yes. My parents have been pressuring my wife for a while now to reach out to her older half-siblings to establish a relationship. My wife, 27 female, was an affair baby. Oh. Her half-siblings share the same mother as her, but are aware of her status as the child from the affair. She was 7 the last time she saw them, but she remembers very clearly that they did not like her or accept her. She knows this hasn't changed because they maintain contact with extended family while also not attending anything she might be attending. This kid didn't ask for that life. My wife's parents are married, but it became a toxic marriage based on cheating, and she's no contact with them as a result. My wife is pregnant with our first child, and this trouble with my parents started when my wife admitted to wishing things could have been different for her and her siblings. Aww. My parents told her that she should reach out because she never knows how they'd respond. She told them she did know, because they continued to keep their distance and not be around her. That she accepted it and would not push or risk a very vitriol-filled rejection from them. But that she accepted they, my parents, wanted the best for her. My parents told her she shouldn't be so quick to dismiss the idea, and they have brought it up roughly a dozen times since. Ooh. I have told them to stop and reminded them that this is my wife's decision alone, and that she should not be backed into a corner by them. That's right. Okay, never mind, I was wrong. The last time was Friday night. My wife grew frustrated by the mention again, and I told my wife we should leave, because clearly this wasn't the right place for us to be at the moment. My parents said we didn't need to leave, and they were trying to support my wife. I told them to forget the Hallmark movies and come into the real world, where not everyone is desperately waiting to be reunited with family, where people can hold on to resentment and hate for decades and lifetimes, where people refusing to attend an event that another person might be at should be taken at face value and seen as a boundary instead of being treated like a cry for the other person to reach out. I told them it's not destined for a happily ever after when ignore clear signs and reach out anyway. And to clarify, my parents are huge Hallmark fans. My parents sent me 3 texts right after we left saying I should have kept my sarcasm away from people who only want to help and support my pregnant wife. We decided a break is needed for my parents, but their text about my comment to them has left me wondering, am I the asshole? No. I was wrong, you're not the asshole. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I told my parents to forget the Hallmark movies and move into the real world. I was being sarcastic with a touch of bite in there, and that might not have been the best or most mature response for something like this. So I confess I might be the asshole in the wrong. They see themselves as trying to help too, which also might be why my response was wrong. They've asked over a dozen times. No, they need to stop asking.